Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 325. I want to put out more. I want to create more. I love when I get these moments and bursts of creativity. They come and go. We don't have all the rhymes or reasons as to why or where or who or how we get creative. But I'll tell you, when you're on a roll and when you are creative and when you're on fire, fuego, get into it. Get into it and do it and have fun with it. Because again, this whole experience is for you. Talking about which, this one's fascinating to me. And the funny thing, too, about these podcasts is I should let you all know that I often have no clue what I'm going to talk about when I get on here. You know, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm going to map it out and plant it out, and these are the topics, and this is how I'm going to dive into it. I don't know any of that. I know that I saw a clip on the interwebs, and I think, you know, maybe I could speak for 20 minutes on this. And I try to keep things around the 20-minute mark. The funny thing is, I try to keep my clips, my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, podcast clips, video clips, where you can see my face. I try to keep them all under 2 minutes. And I talk really fast, and I often run out of time at the end of 2 minutes. I'm like, fuck, I got to re-record that because 2 minutes wasn't enough. And the funny thing is, when you start doing this, when you start practicing or when you start preparing for a podcast or when you start trying to create some level of creation, when you try to create creation, you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my voice. I don't know what to do with my face. It took me 300 episodes to want to be seen. And I'm strikingly attractive, according to my mom. And for the longest time, I was always, hey man, you've got a face for radio. Get into it. You've also got a voice for radio. People seem to like my voice. I should do ASMR stuff with this. I don't know how to do that. It's weird. It's freaking me out too. Don't worry about it, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, we blew up the podcast and we lost a bunch of listeners. But a lot of you guys have found us again. And please share our podcast, like and subscribe. The system likes that. I'm not overly worried about it. I'm not overly concerned. I don't want to be a leader. Some of my friends in the podcasting world have really stepped up. And they're being accused of all kinds of weird shit. They're being accused of being an agent and this and that and the other thing. And you just sort of look around at the whole community. Myself too. Like I look at the community that, you know, I came from, which was the truther community, which was just me waking up and seeing certain things and agreeing with things and disagreeing with things. And like it rubbed me the wrong way, I guess would be the thing. Like I understand the structure. I understand that you go from being dead asleep and being, you know, living with anxiety and depression to having an awareness and to seeing certain things a certain way, to thinking that you're a truther and you're in the conspiracy world. But all that shit is just fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating to me. And it's still fascinating to me. Like the idea of the ice walls. You know, this planetary prison that we claim to be on. But when you look at this, it's all negative. If you look at the mainstream, it's all negative. When you look at the conspiracies, it's all negative. And I think that that's one of the biggest traps. You know, I think that we're here to have experiences. I think that we're here to overcome. Was it Sublime that said, we got to overcome. That's another reason why I'm not a vocalist. I don't remember lyrics that well. Unless, of course, it's playing in the background. Then it's like, wow, I've known these things my entire life. Tell me if you can relate. Carpool karaoke? Are you kidding me? I can belt out those tunes. and people can stare at me and I can laugh and they can laugh and everybody has a great day. But I digress. The fascinating thing about that we might not be in a negative realm is when you look past the programming, and bots was one that I was really, really, really bothered by. I talked about it on my last short. I might even give a whole episode to it. I probably will because it needs some dedication. And I might even tackle back onto it at the end of this episode because, like I said, I don't write these things down. And if I run out of time or if I run out of message and I still have time left, I suppose I could also create shorter podcasts. I mean, a bunch of shorter podcasts. People like bite-sized stuff. But the funny thing is 2 minutes. 2 minutes seemed like an eternity back when you're getting started. And now 2 minutes is just absolutely not enough. But my problem, too, is when I see somebody's shit on socials, when I see a reel that's like 2 minutes long, 120 seconds, I'm on TikTok or I'm on social media, like I'm on Instagram. I'm like, I'm already in a what's next phase, a what's next mindset. So like 2 minutes is too long. So you got to grab me and keep me entertained. Even the shit that's ultra entertaining. I'm about to share a clip with you right now that punched me in the face. Boy, did this one ever feel personal. And I've been in sales my entire life, which is such a wild thing. Granted, when I switched over, I would say switch professions, but when I switched over ideologies and ways of thinking, I had such a hard time with sales. I hated it. To this day, I hate sales. But I want to help. This is the thing. Like I don't want to say desperate to help, but I am so eager to create something for somebody who doesn't believe in themselves or believes in themselves just enough. But I have to get over the fact that I can't reach down to somebody who really doesn't want to do stuff, even though they talk a big game. And you can sense that shit. You can read that energetically, but I've done my fair share. I've done enough of it now where I can set the proper and healthiest boundary. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's top 10 list. Words that rhyme with boundary. Ladies and gentlemen, boundary. What am I even talking about? My girlfriend says I have a form of Tourette's. I'm absolutely asinine. It's possible. I don't know what comes out of my mouth half the time. And it's funny, too, because Tourette's for a long time seemed like a derogatory term or like a terrible thing, but I think it's liberating, to be honest with you, to just sort of be or to at least to experience this. And of course, everybody under the sun's going to say, you can't say that. You haven't lived with it. Again, negative. The world seems to always want to go to negative, which again, to me is the bots, the NPCs and the bots, the non-player characters and the bots. Real world, you've got NPCs, and on the internet, you've got bots. But I honestly think that NPCs in the real world are bots on social media because they're only programmed to do one thing, shit on you or do nothing. There's no bot that's like, oh, well, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. I'm so impressed with all the work that you're doing. Your thought process is a little bit different than mine, but man, oh man, is it ever fascinating to see you grow. No. Every single bot account that I didn't want to talk about it, but here we are. I'm getting riled up. Every single bot account that you see is just shitting on people. And this is how you know they're bots. They're going to shit on you. They're going to ad hominem you. They're going to put something out there and attack you to make you not speak out. They're not going to do anything other than that. Literally. They have two options. Shit on you and make themselves obvious, or do nothing and reply nada. Both of those things are your teaching points. Will you realize that when the bots stop talking to you, that they're aware of your cognitive energy and they don't waste their time on you? Which again proves them to be the truth 100%. I just got into a bot war and I just pointed out the bot account to all of the people and they're like, holy shit. Anyway, again, I could talk about that for hours. There's tons of stuff that could go into that. But I've talked about it enough, I guess, for it to make it into the headlines. We're talking about bots and NPCs, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. Another funny thing that makes me laugh about this podcast too, and I've said this before on the show, and so many people listen to podcasts or read audiobooks at like 1.3, 1.5 times speed. And I've heard so many times people say, when I get to your podcast, I actually have to turn it down because you speak so fast. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Because I too take the book in at 1.5, 2 times speed. And I'm used to sort of speaking so fast because I have to get everything out before either something gets cut off or somebody tries to cut me off or whatever it is. But on a podcast, there's nobody here to cut me off. It's just me, ladies and gentlemen. It's just me. And I talk real fast. I get animated. I'm all excited. And I love that you guys keep coming back every single week. You're amazing. All of you. Every last one of you. Now, what was I talking about? Okay, good. I'm going to press this button here. And then I'm going to press this button here. And this woman's talking about sales. This woman's talking about sales. And it's Margot Miller, I believe, is the account. She's noted as a therapist and coach. I just found her a couple of days ago, and now she's absolutely everywhere in my algorithm. I'd love to get her on the show because she's fascinating. She has a lot of amazing things to say about certain things, and she can articulate so much better than I can. I think you'll like her. Let's see if she accepts my how do you do. Anyway, for the time being, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to play this, and then you and I are going to talk a little bit more about it in 1 second.
Souls is because you're not used to receiving. You are the giver in every situation, and you're the support for everyone else around you. So you have a visceral reaction to receiving, especially when it comes to money. On top of that, because you upfronted all your karma in this lifetime, you have developed a trauma response to other people's pain and suffering. So when a client comes to you and they say, I can't afford this, or they're struggling, instead of holding them to a higher potential, you sink down and overgive and rescue and try to fix them. This could look like chronically lowering your prices, giving free trades, trying to pretend like it's not about the money, so avoiding sales conversations or telling people certain prices, because your body and being has been indoctrinated into hardship. So receiving for your natural gifts and talents feels extremely foreign and uncomfortable to you. And lastly, you've been financially taken advantage of before, and you've been on the receiving side of people who are selling you from a very inauthentic standpoint, or maybe the thing that they gave you was bullshit. And so you are literally doing everything you possibly can to never harm somebody else. It's almost like an OCD reaction where you're trying to give so you don't hurt someone because you've been harmed so many times by other people. And so in order for you to master your mission, you have to stop sinking down to other people's levels, and you have to allow people to come to their potential. You start seeing everybody at the finish line in their power and already abundant. You will master your mission because you're allowing people the opportunity to pay. And when they pay attention. When you see selling as service, you'll master your mission and make the impact your soul came here to make, period.
Well, massive. I'm just massive. And this like listening to her talk about that sort of stuff, and feel free to rewind that and listen to it again. But that to me was huge. You're reaching down, you're pulling people up, people that aren't ready. Don't fuck with people that aren't ready. Let everybody have their journey, but it's also your journey to realize that you're fucking with people that aren't ready. Like, it's your journey, right? Everybody has their journey, and all of our journeys are intertwined, which is shockingly amazing. And this whole thing here, like she says right there, comment masterclass below to sort of be enrolled in my thing. And once you truly do embrace your gifts and you don't look at things a certain way, you're just like, wow, how I've always looked at stuff is so obscure. And it's so true. I know my worth. I've enjoyed my worth. I've been compensated for my worth on numerous occasions. But yeah, I've been burned in the past. I live in a way where I don't want these things to ever happen again. I want to help. I want to create. I want to do these things for people, but you can't. You can't force anybody to be ready for what it is that you're doing. And you can't talk to people about money, because remember too, for the most part, everybody's coming at money or dealing with money from a scarcity mindset, because this is what we've been told. And this is what we've been it's been hammered into us, but especially the past couple of years. Scarcity, fear, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2040. There's no money. Right, but money's an absolute illusion. If you want more money, go get more money. And do you know how many people get pissed off when you tell them that? It's not that easy. My CDs are in his truck. It's not that easy to go get more money. Well, fuck. It's as easy to get the money that you've got right now, right? And you've got this disposition about the money that you've got right now. You think that shit just fell off a tree? No, you went and worked for it, right? Imagine there's somebody out there making half the money that you're making right now going, I can't fucking make more money. Well, then you tell them how you made more money. And then they can go, oh shit, well, maybe I can make more money. When you have a scarcity mindset and you're like, I'm absolutely afraid of buying from you, or afraid of this, that, and the other thing. I used to take it personally. I'd be like, I'm not good enough. That's why they're not coming to me. I'm not good enough. But you realize it's not that at all. It's that they're not ready to spend. Like if I said to you, I'm going to, here, give me $50. I'm going to give you back 150. I think 99.9% of people would do that, right? So it's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with how they choose to view them. And you, ladies and gentlemen, who are in the sales field are not responsible for how people choose to view themselves or how people choose to view their scarcity. You're responsible for talking to the people that already align with you. You're responsible for being like, hey man, I see your potential. I see what you can do. And because you're already pre-programmed to see the person at their utmost potential, or you're programmed to see what you would do in their shoes with their potential or with their what have you. Now you're reflecting or interjecting yourself into that scenario. But at the end of the day, it's not up to you. If they say no, it's up to you to move forward. And this is one of the things that I did really well back in the day was I never overpitched. I had no interest in this shit. The idea of selling to anyone was not comfortable to me once I walked away from sales. And I come from being a sales coach. So people would say, well, isn't this just another ploy? No, it's not. If you don't need the product, if you're not interested in this, I have no interest in talking to you about this. I'll talk to you about anything unless you drive a Tesla or wear a mask when you're out in public by yourself in the car in your own Tesla by yourself. I'm just kidding. Some of you drive Teslas and you're not the worst people in the world because on paper, hey, we're saving the environment, right? Tesla's cool. But let's just say if you drive a Cybertruck, you and I probably aren't going to be friends. I'm sure you're a wonderful person. And I'm sure all your friends think you're a wonderful person. But I'm also sure that you would fucking vote liberal and shoot on people in public. Not that voting liberal is a bad thing, right? Because it's what you've been taught. Because if you say voting liberal is a bad thing, that means voting conservative is a good thing. And voting conservative is not a good thing, right? Right now, we have left-wing liberal, right-wing conservative. Maybe I even got that backwards because I don't give a shit. But they both belong to the same bird. We're in a bit of a problem. Are we? Or are we in a situation where we can step the fuck up? Every single thing that we've been taught, ladies and gentlemen, is fear. I don't have it. I can't have it. I won't earn it. I can't get it. Really? How do you have what you have now? You went out and got it and earned it. And learned more and got a raise and got a promotion and learned more and did more with the knowledge that you have. Can you do what you want to do right now? Fuck no. Because you don't have the knowledge. But what if somebody were to give you the knowledge? Do you think you could do it then? It blows me away, but at the same time, it doesn't because it's where you're supposed to be. This is the mission that we find ourselves on. So if you're out there and if you're having fun and you're creating and you're doing everything that you love, you're great. If you're out there kicking your own ass for not doing the things that you love, figure out how to do them. And don't live in scarcity. Don't live in fear. Be excellent at what you do. Have fun with what you do. Life is way too short to not have fun. Even though this world and all of its adorable constituencies is designed to hold you back. You know full well that you're already breaking free from this mentality. And I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, because there's nothing you can't do. Which was so cliche back in the day. I don't want to fucking hear that. Who are you? The tooth fairy of good news? What the fuck am I even talking about? But that's the bottom line. That's the end of it. You got to have fun with what you're doing. You got to be able to appreciate stuff. You got to be able to get over your own traumas. I listened to this lady and I thought to myself, there's so much I've got to get over. There's so much I've been giving my energy to that is taking away from my ability to properly give my energy to. And I'm borderline okay with this. And here's why. Because I'm also on my mission and on my journey. And everyone that thinks that they've got a podcast, that they have an idea, they haven't started or anything like that, but if they think that they've got a podcast in their mind, they think that everybody that they're listening to has an amazing podcast and has an amazing background or a team or all this stuff. And they project inside their head what they can and can't do and what they can and can't create. A friend of mine who's got one of the longest running podcasts in the world started with his cell phone and then slowly upgraded his components. I would suggest now that you get a good editor. That's about it. And currently, ladies and gentlemen, I'm using a free one. I'm using Audacity. Audacity is free. If I need to tweak my sound or my voice or come up with things like this that sound a little bit different, me personally right there, I just grab the microphone. But those effects are in Audacity. I haven't even learned to use them because I've not needed them yet. But if I do need them, they're in there. And guess what? YouTube has a masterclass on how to use Audacity. So you can start with nothing. When I started, I was like, I don't even know where to go. I didn't even know I could look for a mentor at one point. You just don't know. I know I was in sales. I know all of these sales propagandas. I know real estate's got real estate coaches. I know all this shit. And in the past, I've had people ask me, are you accredited? And my answer is no. When it comes to the coaching that I do, anxiety and depression release for sure, I'm not accredited because every single person that could have accredited me or given me accreditation was preaching from a system that I absolutely unequivocally stood against. So I would have had to ruin my brain to become accredited. And I'm here to make things better. I'm here to give answers. I'm here to have you. I'm not here to give answers, ladies and gentlemen. I take that back. I'm here to have you look so far inside you that you find the answers you're looking for and actuate on your own accord. If I'm talking to you one-on-one, you can fucking do it. I see that you can do it. To people will say, well, because they're negative, they'll say, what gives you that ability? How come you can see in me that what I can't see? Well, first off, I'm batting 1,000. Every single one of my I'm not batting 1,000. I lied to you. I flat out lied to you right there. I have one client that was not a success after working with me. Can I rectify that? Yes. Let me get that man back on the phone. Choppity chop chop. Let's do it again. Re-up. A lot of the customers that I've had too signed on for a year and stuck around for 2, 3, 4 years. Because as we were growing, more was happening. And my whole thing was to stay cutting edge, to learn, to understand, to comprehend. My business grew from the desire to learn more and to become better. I became a better person so that I could help you, so that I could become a better person. This is how the whole thing works. This is what happens with you. The business you want to undertake should be making you a better version of you. In how you deal with clients and how you problem solve and how you deal with situations. At no point do we need anger, rage, frustration. But as a coach and as somebody who's quote unquote a light worker, an energy healer, I've come through the depths of hell to get here. And I can give you a roadmap on the fastest way out, but I can't get you out. That's life. You can't become something amazing off the advice of somebody else. You can only become something amazing after having lived through something maybe not so amazing. You can become amazing by following the steps, for sure. But you can't feel it in your core, in your gut. You can't viscerally be you without being the version of you that is tied to your past. Your past is your greatest friend. And we're tricked into believing it's a fucking anchor. Yeah, none of us are proud of our past, ladies and gentlemen. That's the beauty of hindsight. Not a single one of us are proud of 100% of our past. 98% of our past we don't even pay attention to. Our absolute worst, that's the shit that plays on repeat inside of our own heads. What kind of sick individual constantly beats themselves up for some random shit that they did when they didn't know any better? And it took the thing that they did to teach them the lesson that they learned that they needed to learn to never do that thing again. Dios mio, mon amigo. Mio sparkling water. Just one squirt. The hell am I talking about? I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to sales, when it comes to you, when it comes to how you want to proceed, understand that you've overcome everything. You have faced every single aspect of your life and you've overcome it. And you sit here and you worry about what's coming next. Whatever comes next, you're going to overcome that too. And if you switch out from being afraid, if you switch out from having a scarcity or a fear or a lack mentality, guess what happens? You start hitting home runs left, right, and center. Pa-pow, pa-pow, left field, right field, straight away center field. Infield home run. How peculiar was that? I whiffed at the ball, yet everybody made it home safe. Absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a blast on this episode. We covered a lot. I drifted all over the place, but it's what I wanted to talk about. It's what I wanted to talk about, and it's my show, and you guys are the greatest audience in the entire world. And without you, there's no point in me doing this, except I would still do it because it helps me. One last thing I'll leave you guys with. They say you can't overflow a cup. Once your cup is full, that's your knowledge. And I like this because we could all have a bigger cup. We could have this, we could have that. But I'll tell you this. You take your entirety of your knowledge and say it's in a cup, and you pour that liquid into a saucepan. Well, now you have a massive saucepan with one cup full of information in it, and you get to fill that cup up over and over and over again. And there are people with no saucepan. There are people with just the cup. Once the cup was full, they stopped learning. Homer Simpson once said, every time I learn something new, I forget something old. Like that time I learned I could drink 24 beers, I forgot how to drive. But you have this saucepan, and this saucepan, ladies and gentlemen, for me is the podcast. I take what I've learned, I take what I understand, I take what I comprehend, I fill up my cup, and I pour that cup into the podcast. I pour it out, and it's out there. It's in the ethos. It's my little saving grace. It's for me to always look at, for me to see where I was. I could drop back 200 episodes and be like, who the fuck is this guy talking? But whoever he was at the time, it was very important. He wasn't as enthusiastic as me because he was nervous. But who I am today only exists because of who I was, what I grew through, and who I chose to become. I have a lot of shadow work left to do. This clip that I played for you earlier in the episode, I'm really going to dive into that. I'm really going to look at this and say, hey, what is... These are the things that are, this is one of the pieces of the missing pie for me to really step up my game, to be that version of me. And when you become that version of you, you attract the clients that make your life beautiful, and you make their life beautiful, and you become better, both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. Every single day in the future is a beautiful gift. So always remember, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.